truly amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy how over the course of 3 or 4 years we were at the same place at the same time, and we were good friends, and the Lord really just orchestrated that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I think it's time that we tell our story, right?
Yeah, let's tell it.
All right, give me a smooch. All right, scoop, so I can tell the people our love story. I'm super excited today. We're going to talk about me and Andre's love story. Our love story is truly a testimony of God's perfect timing. I remember being in my single season, and unfortunately, I don't have the story to say that my single season was so horrible. I loved every bit of my single season. I was out living my best life. I had an amazing group of friends. I went to an amazing church. I served in ministry. I was a leader over a teen ministry that took up a lot of my time. I was in college. I had family things, so I feel like I had a lot of stuff to keep me busy. So yeah, it was great. Be single and I could be like a Paulette, or do you want me to get married? Like, which one do you want me to do?
During my single season, it was all about preparation. It was all about discovery, and it was all about getting myself healed and whole. You see this book right here? This book is proof of my journey. This is a reminder, daily reminders of what I went through, of what I used, conversations that I had with God, and just really notes of what I told God I wanted in a wife. Because I think honestly, when you are in that season of discovery, or you're in that season of wanting to be in a relationship or wanting to date, you got to make it known what you're looking for. And so that's what I was real. I wrote precept upon precept of what I wanted in a wife. Literally, this right here is so dated, 2016 notes to God. How I wanted a woman who knew her purpose. I wanted a woman who had, who was an encourager. I wanted a woman who was loving. I wanted a woman that had a prayer life. And these were just me having real conversations with God. And literally, during that time, even with me going through my own process, God was able to not only show me the specific targets to pray for my future spouse, but God dealing with me.
And I remember my single season, I thought both were beautiful. I thought both were great. I could see myself doing both of them. But I remember, just like it was yesterday, I was driving, and I remember the Lord's like, no, like, you're going to be a wife. And I'm like, whew, all right, Lord, well, let's do this thing. And I remember from there, I began to have a burden just to get married. I began to have a burden to want to serve someone else, to do life with someone else, to make Jesus known, to make him famous through my union. And that was when I first began to start praying for my husband and everything that I wanted in a spouse. I knew I wanted someone that had vision. I knew I wanted someone that would love me well. I know I wanted someone that would put our family as the first priority. I didn't want to be neglected or feel like I was overlooked. I wanted someone to have fun with and make memories and have adventure. And yeah, I wanted a safe place.
So during my prayer time, the Lord revealed to me that my wife was one that loved the Lord. She cares about his people. She was an encourager. She was a servant. She was one that would give her own shirt off her own back to give to someone else. She was a giver. She was a tither. And these were just characteristics or fruits of the Spirit is generally what I saw in what the Lord revealed to me about her. And I just remember just saying, God, I desire to be in a relationship, but whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to stay on the path. I'm just going to take one day at a time, and I'm just going to, whenever it happens, it happens.
I pray specific prayers for my spouse. I pray, one, for him to be a man that loved God more than he loved me. I prayed for someone that had vision and that could lead me well. I prayed for someone that had amazing friends and great accountability. I prayed that he had a strong brotherhood, people that would hold him accountable and really walk and do life with him. I prayed for someone that had a plan, that was financially stable, someone that was fun. And I also prayed ultimately that we would walk alongside each other and do ministry.
I remember graduating and relocating back to Atlanta and attending this church. and walking through the front doors, not knowing that my wife was at the front door, and she was greeting, and we just began to have a little conversation, and from there we did ministry together, and it was just great.
When Andre approached me, I remember I was excited, but I also was a little afraid. We were both in the same church, in the same ministry. We served in our connections department and our youth department together, and we had served alongside each other for a couple of years. We sat on the same row during service. We hung out in the same friend group, but we were literally brother and sister in Christ, and I think that's one unique thing about our relationship, that it was strictly platonic and that we built something solid off just being friends. It wasn't no secret feelings, it wasn't any side romance. It was literally just two people that loved God and authentically were friends, and we made memories. We did life together, we had fun, we cried, we prayed, had Bible studies, all great things, and it was literally just friendship. And when I could tell when it started changing, because Andre, went from not just checking in, but like regularly checking in, and the good morning text and more communication, so I could see things changing. And I remember being super excited and nervous, but I just had a total peace. I was at peace that I was at the right place at the right time, that God was doing something special and something significant.
I can remember it being when I knew the relationship was going to be more than our friendship, when I knew that Kiera was consistent. She was the most consistent friend that I had in that season, and just with her being there, she was very supportive. We were able to talk about just about anything. We were able to have fun, but we were also able to do ministry together. And I think that was one of the main things that I look for, someone that I could do ministry with and also have fun with. And the fact that we were able to do that let me know, without a shadow of doubt, that we can take this thing to the next level.
Our courtship was very intentional. I remember it was after service, our pastor preached a message, and in the message she talked about taking a risk. And I was just worshiping and, just doing my own thing with the Lord. And I remember I looked up and Andre was staring directly at me, and I tried to look the other way so he wouldn't catch me, but I could tell that he was, definitely directly staring at me. And I just, I thought about, I'm like, Lord, are you dealing with him on something? What's going on? And at that time, I actually knew that Andre was possibly an option, but I wasn't sure because we still was in that friend stage. So I was just in a waiting season. I knew one thing sure about the Lord that I heard, and I kept getting time at time, even when I didn't want to hear, whether it was from God or from friends, or even I remember I went to a completely different ministry event, and people gave me the word the same time years and years, and it was like the Lord was going to raise up a friend. And it wasn't until that moment I'm like, okay, Lord, is this the friend you're going to raise up? But that same Sunday after service, I was by the water station. I was getting ready to get some water, and Andre, I remember he came so fast. He's like, hey, I gotta have a conversation with you after church. And I was so scared because he said so firm, and it wasn't no smile or nothing. I'm like, okay, that was awkward. So that particular Sunday, he had a conversation with me, and the thing that really touched my heart, that he had been praying for me. He had been praying for me over a couple of weeks. The Lord had been dealing with him. We knew that we had an amazing friendship, and he was just honest with me, he wanted to take that risk, but also not lose our great friendship. But I think the thing that stuck out the most was he was able to articulate not just the now, but even things from my past, and also where we would go in the future. And we prayed together. We also had a serious conversation. He was like, hey, I'm going to take this to our particular friend group and our senior leaders, and I want accountability on board. And it just really stuck out to me how intentional he was about every part of the journey, wanting to support me. And it was an amazing season. We had accountability, we had Bible studies, we had fun, we went on so many dates, group dates, single dates, and it was great. Met family. It was a great time.
So once I knew I was ready to propose, I knew it had to be extra, because Kiera is what? Extra. And I remember I, had a whole surprise plan, because she is a detective. I knew she was going to ask her friends, and she was going to try to figure out what I had planned. So I literally had a photo shoot set up for her. She thought she was, just modeling for one of her friends, and it was a surprise. She did she was modeling, she was taking pictures, and I was hiding around the corner, and I gave away a signal that only she would knew. I had them play a song that both of us love, and when they played the song, I came around the corner, also smooth, and she had her back turned, and I got down on one knee, and the rest is history. Kira is probably the most supportive, encouraging, serving person that I've ever met. And just watching her be able to give more of herself makes me love her even more.
Our marriage will minister to people that kingdom families can be built, that healthy families can exist, and how when you partner with God, when you partner with the plan that He has for your life, our marriage will show people that Jesus is real, that our life is a testimony, and will be evidence of His goodness and His faithfulness, and ultimately His redemption. Our marriage is going to show people how Christ loves us, and we're going to love other people that same exact way.
Wow, babe. That was a lot.
That was a lot, and our story is still being written.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, let's conquer the world.
Let's conquer the world.